The salt-laced breeze off Biscayne Bay whipped through the open-air pool bar like a whisper from the Atlantic, carrying the faint tang of chlorine and rum. I was Declan Hayes, 28 and fraying at the edges, nursing a gin and tonic that had gone warm against my palm, staring at the ripples in the infinity pool as if they held answers to questions I hadn't dared voice. That's when he slid onto the stool beside Metal, unhurried, with a presence that sucked the air from the humid evening like a riptide pulling me under. His hand brushed mine as he signaled the bartender. Not by accident. And in that fleeting grace, the world narrowed to the heat blooming where our skin met. A silent promise that words would never capture. I froze, heart slamming against my ribs like waves crashing on South Beach at midnight. He turned, hazel eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that stripped away the noise of laughing tourists and clinking glasses. Seeing straight through the armor I'd built after years of hiding in plain sight. "Rough day?" he asked, voice low and rough-edged, like gravel under tires on Ocean Drive. And just like that, the dam cracked, the one I'd reinforced since coming out in a family that still pretended my truth was a phase. We talked for hours, or maybe it was minutes. Time blurred under the string lights flickering like fireflies above us. His name was Alex Rivera, 30, a freelance photographer who'd chased sunsets from Brooklyn to here, chasing stories in the shadows of palms and neon. He laughed at my dry jokes about corporate drudgery, a marketing exec grinding away at a firm in Brickell, selling dreams to folks who could afford them while mine stayed bottled up. But it was his hand. Later, when the bar thinned and the stars pricked the velvet sky, that moved first. It slid across the scarred wood, fingers tracing the back of my knuckles in a slow, deliberate arc that sent fire racing up my arm. No words, just that touch, electric, unapologetic, saying everything my throat couldn't. I'm here. I'm like you. Let's burn. By the time we stumbled out into the balmy night, his arm slung casual around my shoulders like we'd known each other lifetimes. I felt alive in a way that terrified me. Miami pulsed around us, salsa spilling from a nearby club, the distant honk of cabs on Collins Avenue, but all I could focus on was the warmth of him. The way his thumb grazed my collarbone as we walked toward his rented convertible. "Stay?" he murmured against my ear, breath hot and spiced with tequila. And God help me, I did. We drove south along the causeway, windows down, wind tearing at our shirts, until we hit a secluded stretch of beach where the moon painted silver paths on the surf. There, under the vast indifference of the stars, his lips found mine fierce, hungry, tasting of salt and secrets, and I let go, falling into him like the tide surrendering to the shore. But surrender has its price. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the gauzy curtains of his Coconut Grove bungalow, and reality crashed in harder than the hangover pounding my temples. My phone buzzed relentlessly, texts from my sister, Elena. "Back in our childhood home in Tampa. Mom's asking about you again. Church brunch Sunday. Don't ghost us. Deck." I stared at the screen, thumb hovering, while Alex stirred beside me, his bare chest rising and falling in peaceful rhythm, a faint scar tracing his ribs like a map to battles I'd yet to learn. How could something this raw, this right, feel like a bomb ticking in my chest? I'd spent years navigating the tightrope of family expectations, dad's stoic silence after my coming out at 22. The Bible verses slipped under my door like veiled threats wrapped in love. Alex was a wild card, a spark that could ignite everything I'd buried. We spent the day tangled in sheets and stolen glances, his camera capturing candid shots of me laughing over coffee on the lanai, the lens turning vulnerability into art. "You're photogenic as hell," he said, grinning that crooked smile that made my knees weak. But his eyes held something deeper, a flicker of his own ghosts. Over lunch at a hole-in-the-wall Cuban spot in Little Havana, empanadas steaming between us, he opened up, orphan young, bounced through foster homes in Jersey, found his way through a lens that let him see beauty in broken things. People like us, he said, for pausing midair. We're survivors. But surviving ain't living unless you grab what sets your soul on fire. His words landed like punches, echoing the ache I'd carried since college, when my first boyfriend ghosted me after his frat brothers found out. As dusk fell, we wandered the windward walls, murals exploding in riots of color graffiti, hearts cracked open, lovers entwined in defiance. His hand slipped into mine, public and unashamed, and for a heartbeat, Miami felt like ours. But then my phone rang again, Dad this time. Voice gruff over the line. Declan, your mother's worried. You sound off. Everything all right? I mumbled assurances, pulse racing as Alex watched, his grip tightening like an anchor. Hanging up, I forced a smile, but the fracture lines were there, spiderwebbing under my skin. That night, as we made love on the balcony overlooking the bay, body slick with sweat and moonlight, I whispered his name like a prayer, chasing away the shadows. Yet even in ecstasy, doubt whispered, how long before the world demands I choose? Weeks blurred into a fever dream of stolen weekends. I'd fly down from my Atlanta satellite office. Wait. No. I'd lied to myself. I requested the transfer to Miami just to be closer, telling the firm it was for market expansion. Alex met me at the airport each time, signs scrawled with cheesy puns like haze to heaven, his laughter chasing the exhaustion from my bones. We explored the city like conspirators, kayaking through mangroves in the Everglades, where alligators lurked as silent judges. Midnight swims at Hollover Beach, nude and free under the judgmental stars. Quiet dinners at Joe's Stone Crab, where his foot hooked mine under the table. A secret Morse code of desire. But the cracks widened. Elena visited unannounced one Saturday, her rental car pulling up as Alex and I lounged poolside, his head on my thigh, fingers idly tracing patterns on my skin. She froze in the doorway, eyes darting from our casual intimacy to the rumpled bed visible through the screen. Deck. Whose? This. Her voice cracked, not with hate, but confusion laced with the family's unspoken creed. I sat up, heart in my throat, introducing Alex as a friend from work, the lie tasting bitter as the mojito we'd shared earlier. He played along, charm dialed to 11. But later, in the kitchen while she napped, his jaw tightened. You don't have to hide me, Declan. Not from her. I wanted to argue, to explain the fragile peace I'd brokered with my family, the annual Thanksgivings where I showed up solo, deflecting questions with career talk, the holidays where mom's hugs lingered too long, apologies wrapped in prayers. But his hurt eyes silenced me. And that night, after Elena left with awkward hugs and promises to talk soon, we fought for the first time. Words flew like shrapnel, my fear of losing them clashing against his insistence on authenticity. Love isn't a closet. Declan, it's a goddamn revolution. He shouted, voice echoing off the tile. And I stormed out, driving aimlessly through neon-lit streets until I ended up at that same pool bar, the stool beside mine mocking me with emptiness. Dawn found me there, head in hands. When his text lit my screen, I'm sorry. Come home. Home. The word hit like a lifeline, and I raced back, finding him on the balcony, camera abandoned, eyes red-rimmed. We collided in a tangle of apologies and need, body speaking what egos couldn't, forgiveness in every gasp, every press of skin. But the fight lingered like humidity, a reminder that passion alone couldn't bridge the chasms. As summer deepened, so did we. Alex's gigs took him to Key West for a week, shooting a queer pride float parade. And I joined him, shedding my button-downs for board shorts, marching hand in hand through rainbow-drenched streets. The energy was intoxicating, drag queens lip-syncing under conch shells. Locals cheering as if our love was the tide itself. That night, in a seaside B&B with waves lapping the porch, he knelt before me, not with rings, but with a vintage Leica pendant, engraved through my lens. "You're eternal. I want this as forever," he said, voice thick, and tears stung as I pulled him up, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of salt and forever. Yet fate, that cruel curator, had other plans. Back in Miami, a call from Tampa shattered the idol, Dad's heart attack. Sudden and severe, landing him in intensive care. Elena's voice trembled over the line, "He asked for you. Deck." Specifically, guilt clawed me as I booked the first flight north. Alex insisting on coming, his hand steady in mine through turbulence. At the hospital, sterile lights buzzing overhead. Mom met us in the lobby, her face crumpling at the sight of Alex's arm around my waist. "Who's this?" she whispered, and I braced for the storm, introducing him as my partner. The word dropping like a stone into still water. The room went silent, save for the beep of monitors down the hall. Dad, pale and tubed, stirred when I entered alone. His eyes faded blue like mine, flickering with something unspoken. "Son," he rasped, hand weak in mine. I've been wrong. About a lot." The confession poured out in fragments, regrets over his silence. The fear that had choked him since his own youth. Hiding a brother lost to AIDS in the 80s. Alex waited outside, but Mom pulled me aside later, tears carving tracks down her powdered cheeks. "We love you, Declan. Always have. Just give us time." It was an absolution, but it was a door cracking open, light spilling through. We stayed a week, bridging gaps over hospital coffee and tentative dinners, Alex's stories of foster resilience softening Dad's edges, Elena's questions turning curious rather than cutting. Driving back to Miami, windows down, his hand on my thigh, I felt the weight lift, replaced by a fierce gratitude. Love, I realized, wasn't just the fire between us. It was the forge that tempered us, making us stronger for the world's winds. Fall crept in with cooler breezes, turning palm fronds gold, and our life wove tighter. I quit the firm for a remote gig, freeing days for Alex's Schutzum as his muse, posing amid Art Deco facades or mangrove roots, capturing not just bodies but souls bared. One evening, as we prepped for a gallery opening of his Pride series, he turned to me amid scattered prints, eyes alight. "This one's you," he said, holding a photo, me at the pool bar that first night, captured unknowingly, gaze distant yet yearning. The moment I knew. The opening was a whirlwind, critics murmuring approval, champagne flutes clinking, queer icons toasting under gallery spots. But midway, as applause swelled for a piece titled Silent Currents, Alex took the mic, voice steady. "This series is for the loves that whisper before they roar. For Declan, who taught me words fail, but touch endures." He pulled me on stage, kiss public and profound, the room erupting in cheers that drowned my pounding heart. In that instant, amid flashes and embraces, I saw our future not flawless, but fought for, cherished. Yet trials don't end with triumphs. Winter brought a storm, literal and figurative. A freak hurricane warning emptied Miami's streets, and we hunkered in the bungalow, boards over windows, candles flickering as power cut. Huddled on the couch, his body my shelter, thunder rumbling like unresolved fears. Old doubts surfaced. What if it's not enough? I murmured into his neck, voice small against the howl. The family mending, the world shifting. What if we break anyway? He pulled back, cupping my face, thumb brushing my lip. Then we rebuild. Together. Because you're not just my love, Declanuary my why. His words anchored me as rain lashed the roof. And in the dim glow, we moved slow, deliberate, reaffirming vows unspoken. Morning brought blue skies, debris-strewn but resilient, mirroring us. Spring bloomed with proposals, not grand gestures, but quiet ones. Over picnic in Bayfront Park, amid banyan roots and buskers, he slipped a simple band on my finger, etched with coordinates of that pool bar stool. "Marry me?" he asked, grin boyish, and I laughed through tears. Yes, tumbling out like sunlight. Planning followed, a small ceremony on the beach at dawn. Elena officiating after seminary. Mom and Dad in the front row. Hands clasped, tears of joy. Not judgment. But the real test came months later. At the rehearsal dinner in a quaint Key Biscayne inn. Dad pulled me aside. Voice gravelly, "I see it now. Son, the light in your eyes. He brings that." His hug. Fierce and unyielding. Sealed forgiveness. The wedding day dawned, perfect waves lapping. Gulls crying blessings as Alex walked the sand toward me. Vows exchanged like lifelines, in silence and storm. "I choose you." Years later, we'd look back on that pool bar night as Genesis, the touch that bridged silences, birthing a love that weathered gales. With a daughter adopted from the system Alex once navigated, her laughter echoing in our home, we'd teach her resilience, that love, in all its forms, is the bravest revolution. And in quiet moments, his hand finding mine across the dinner table, I'd remember words fail. But touch, it endures, eternal as the tide. The reception spilled into twilight. Fairy lights strung like stars between palms. Laughter mingling with the lap of waves on the shore. I stood at the edge of the dance floor. Alex's ring glinting on my finger like a captured sunbeam. Watching our mismatched family sway, Elena twirling her wife. Mom and Dad slow dancing with the awkward grace of new converts to joy. A hand on my shoulder pulled me back. Alex, breathless from a conga line. Eyes sparkling with that same fire from our first night. "Dance with me, husband," he murmured, the words sending shivers down my spine. And I let him lead. Bodies fitting like puzzle pieces honed by time. Life post-vows wasn't a fairy tale epilogue, but a vivid continuation, painted in broad strokes of ordinary magic. We settled into a fixer-upper in Coral Gables. Walls echoing with hammers and hope as we transformed it, me painting murals inspired by Alex's photos. Him wiring lights that caught the sunset just so. Mornings started with coffee on the patio, his foot nudging mine under the table. Conversations weaving dreams, expanding his studio. Me launching a consultancy for queer-owned brands. Building something authentic from the ground up. But joy's shadow is growth's demand. 6 months in, Alex's wanderlust resurfaced, a commission for a documentary in New Orleans, chasing stories of resilience post-Katrina, laced with queer narratives from the French Quarter. "Come with," he asked over breakfast, fork spearing mango. But work tethered me, a pitch to a major client, the kind that could fund our future nest egg. 2 weeks, I promised, kissing him goodbye at MIA. His duffel slung over one shoulder, that Leica around his neck like a talisman. The house felt cavernous without him. Silences amplifying doubts I'd thought buried. Elena called midweek. Her voice a lifeline. "He's fine. Deck just neck deep in interviews. But you sound lost." She was right. Solitude unearthed old fissures, the echo of family silences. The fear that love's intensity might one day flicker out. I threw myself into runs along the bay, pounding pavement until lungs burned. But evenings brought wine and wistful scrolls through his Insta stories, him amid brass bands and beignet. Caption chasing light in the shadows, miss my anchor. He returned on a stormy Friday, thunder greeting his cab like applause. And I met him at the door, rain slicked and grinning. pulling me into a kiss that tasted of chicory and homecoming. Over gumbo he'd smuggled back. Stories tumbled, tales of a trans elder's jazz club confessions. A young couple's defiance against Bayou bigotry. It's our story, too, he said. Hand over mine. Proof that love carves paths through floods. That night, as lightning etched the sky, we made plans of joining future shoots, blending our worlds into a shared lens. Summer swelled with heat and happenings. We adopted Luna, a scrappy 4-year-old from the foster system. Her dark curls and defiant spark a mirror to Alex's youth. Court days blurred into chaos home studies. Paperwork mountains but her first dada. To me, tentative amid toy chaos. Melted the exhaustion. Nights. We'd collapse on the couch. Her head on my lap. Alex reading The Giving Tree in voices that had her giggling till eyelids drooped. Fatherhood sharpened edges. My patience stretched thin during teething tantrums. Alex's guilt flaring when Shoots pulled him away. Am I enough? He'd whisper one dawn. Luna asleep between us. And I'd trace his scar. Reminding, you're everything, the steady frame holding our picture. Conflicts brewed subtle. Like humidity before rain. My consultancy boomed. Deadlines devouring dinners. While Alex's gallery show Lumita retrospective blending our lives. Intimate shots of Luna's chubby fists. My laugh lines. His vulnerabilities bared. Pressure mounted. Arguments sparked over forgotten pickups. Unbalanced loads. One evening, after Luna's daycare saga left me frayed, I snapped at him over a cold takeout stir-fry. You chase the world. But who's here holding the fort? Hurt flashed in his eyes. Raw as exposed film. I'm building for us. Declan for her to see dreams pursued. Silence stretched. Heavy. Until Luna's cry from the monitor bridged us. Hands meeting over her crib in truce. We sought balance in therapy, a queer-affirming counselor in South Beach. Sessions unpacking our scars. My closet-born caution. His abandonment forged fire. Love thrives in vulnerability, she said. And we leaned in. Dates rediscover picnics at Oleta River, where kayaks cut through mangroves. Luna splashing from a carrier. Romance reignited. Surprise notes in lunchboxes. Slow dances in the kitchen to Caltry's horn. By fall, the show opened to acclaim. Critics praising the tender authenticity. And standing beside Alex under spotlights. Luna on my hip waving at admirers. I felt unbreakable. Winter whispered changes. Dad's health rallied. But a routine check revealed Shadow's prostate whispers. Treatable if caught. We flew north. Luna bundled in a tiny Florida State hoodie. Elena hosting a pre-Thanksgiving huddle. Mom's kitchen brimmed with tamales and tension. But Dad's grip on Alex's shoulder lingered. Proud of you boys. Over pie. Stories flowed, his brother's lost laugh. My uncle's hidden life and tears mixed with laughter. Healing stitching old wounds. Back home. The scare prompted checkups. Mine clear. But the reminder lingered. Time's a thief. So seize it. Spring brought Luna's kindergarten milestone. Her backpack comically large. First day jitters melting into pride as she waved goodbye. Alex captured it all, ends clicking like heartbeats while I fought lump in throat. Whispering. She's ours. Fully. Evenings filled with ABC songs and bedtime battles. But in quiet aftermaths, we'd steal moments on the porch swing. Stars winking approval. His head on my shoulder. This, he murmured once. Fingers laced. Is the plot twist I never saw coming. Yet life's script twists unbidden. A client poached my biggest account. Betrayal stinging like salt in a cut. Confidence crumbling under boardroom fallout. Alex found me in the garage that night. Tools scattered from a half-hearted shelf project. Shoulders shaking. Hey, he said soft. Kneeling. You're more than wins. Declan Yuri, the man who chose us. Every day, his belief rebuilt me. I pivoted, launching a niche firm focused on inclusive campaigns. First client, a trans advocacy group whose stories echoed ours. Summer circled back to roots, a family trip to Tampa. Beaches packed. Luna building sandcastles with Elena's kids. Dad, stronger now, tossed a frisbee with Alex. Laughter booming, redemption in motion. Evenings on the pier. Fishing lines cast. He pulled me aside. Never thought I'd say it. But thank God for that boy. He makes you shine. Tears pricked. Bridges, once burned, now spanned wide. As Luna turned 6, her questions bloomed, why 2 daughters? And we answered with books and honesty, planting seeds of self in fertile ground. Alex's next project, a children's series on diverse families. Me co-authoring tales drawn from our tapestry. Launches packed with tots and toasts. Her pride beaming. That's my book. Through it all, that pool bar memory anchored us the stool. The touch. The spark. Anniversaries there became ritual, same seats. Hands rediscovering paths. Toasting to words unspoken. One night, as Luna napped in the booth, he leaned in, still moves me. You know where words can't. And in his gaze, I saw eternity, not perfection, but perseverance. Love's quiet revolution enduring. Luna's curiosity sharpened with 7 candles on her cake. Questions evolving from whimsy to wonder. Deck. Why do some kids have mean words for rainbows? The playground tanta classmates' echo of overheard prejudice landed like a pebble in still water, rippling through our evenings. We sat her down with ice cream melting on the table. Alex's voice steady, because some folks fear what they don't understand. Mija. But we love loud. And that's our superpower. Her nod, fierce and small, swelled my chest. Raising her meant arming her heart. Not just her mind. Work wove new threads. My firm hit stride, landing a campaign for Miami's Pride Festival billboards of intertwined hands. Tagline touched the untold. Inspired by us. Alex shot the visuals. His eye capturing raw emotion, an elder couple's gaze. A teen's tentative smile. Launch night. Throngs at Lincoln Road. Luna clutching our legs amid cheers. Felt like victory parade. But success summoned shadows. A rival firm poached talent. Whispers of sabotage circling. Sleepless nights followed. My temper fraying over emails. Until Alex staged an intervention picnic at Matheson Hammock. Hammock swaying. Luna chasing fiddler crabs. Breathe. Amor, he said. Palm to my chest. We're the team that beats storms. Family orbits tightened. Elena announced pregnancy. Her glow infectious over video calls. Mom cooing abuela dreams. We visited for the baby shower. Tampa's humidity thick as nostalgia. Dad grilling ribs with stories of his mill days. Silences now filled with questions about our lives. Luna's school project drawing families. I shared. And he chuckled. Bet ours looks like a rainbow explosion. Progress. Incremental but profound. Yet autumn winds carried gales. Alex's father resurfaced a letter forwarded from his P.O. box. Postmarked Jersey. Words scrawled in regret. I was wrong to leave. Can we talk? Shock rooted him for days. Camera idle. Meals picked at. He abandoned me at 8. He confessed one rain-lashed night. Thunder underscoring pain. What if he's just lonely? I held him as sobs racked. Whispering. You decide the door. But you're not that boy Anamoriuri hole. They met in a neutral diner. Me waiting in the car. Heart hammering. He emerged drained but lighter. Closure. Not reunion. Forgave for me. That vulnerability bound us tighter. Therapy unpacking the fracture. Emerging resilient. Holiday lights twinkled as Luna's school play Lumita holiday pageant. Her role as a shepherd with lines memorized in lisps. Rehearsals filled our home with tinsel and trepidation. Stage fright gripped her tiny frame. What if I forget? She'd whimper. And we'd improvise skits over cocoa. Alex directing with gentle flair. Opening night. Community center packed. She shone voice clear. Eyes on us in the front row. Post-curtain hugs. Her grin triumphant. I did it. Pride swelled. A reminder, fears conquered in company. Winter deepened resolve. A neighborhood dispute flared, new neighbors griping over our pride flag. Passive-aggressive notes escalating to complaints. Standoffs at block parties. Words weaponized. Tested our skin. Community mediation followed. Alex advocating with photos of inclusive histories. Me citing bylaws with calm steel. Resolution came quiet. Flags stayed. Dialogues opened. A barbecue truce forging unlikely bonds. Luna, oblivious, hosted peace picnics with cookies. Her innocence the true diplomat. Spring unfurled with Luna's first Crusha classmates' shy note passed at recess. Hearts doodled in crayon. We navigated with care. Alex chuckling over dinner. Our girls got game. Advice flowed gentle. Be kind. Be you. Mirroring our own genesis. School dance loomed. Her excitement bubbling. And we chaperone edge 'em aglow with streamers. Kids awkward in finery. Watching her twirl. Hand in hand with her friend. Echoed our pool bar spark. Love's first flutters. Universal. Mid-year. Opportunity knocked. Alex's doc pitched to PBS. Queer foster tales. Me as producer. Filming took us cross-country, New Orleans, jazz funerals. Seattle coffee confessions, Luna tagging along for summer legs. Her wonder wide-eyed at big skies. Challenges mounted, budget crunches. Interviewee nerves. But triumphs tasted sweeter, a screening in Austin. Tears and applause. Her hugging us. You make stories real. Back home. Cracks in the foundation, literalizita leak from hurricane remnants. Walls buckling. Renovations ensued. Dust and disruption testing patience. But date nights persisted, rooftop bars overlooking the bay. His hand in mine. Recapturing sparks. Still my revolution. He'd toast. And I'd counter. And you're my anchor. As summer peaked. Luna's birthday bash at the pool, same bar where it began, circled the wheel. Kids splashing. Cake melting in heat. Alex and I stealing a moment at our stools. Fingers brushing. 10 years. He murmured. Eyes tracing my laugh lines. And every touch feels new. Heart full. I pulled him close, because it's use enduring. Evolving. Through trials and tenderness. Our love proved alchemy, turning base fears to gold. Silences to songs. Luna's laughter. Family's embrace. Our shared gaze, a testaments that one hand's move can rewrite fates. Weaving a tapestry rich with meaning. Luna's 8th year dawned with a flourish, a science fair project on ocean currents. Her hypothesis scribbled in marker, love pulls like the tide. We helped build the model. Alex sourcing driftwood. Me calculating flows. Nights dissolving into giggles over glue gun mishaps. Presentation day. Auditorium humming. She stood tall. Voice steady, just like waves find shore. Hearts find home. Judges awarded blue. But her beam outshone ribbons. Parenting's quiet wins. Etched in memory. Work's rhythm steadied. My firm partnering with Alex's studio for branded DocSqueer entrepreneurs spotlit. Stories sold with soul. A Chicago trip sealed a deal. Skyline glittering as we walked the loop hand in hand. Luna FaceTiming from Elena's, brings snow. Absences ached. But reunions healed her, tackling us at baggage claim. Stories tumbling. Family tides shifted. Mom's retirement sparked a visit, her packing boxes in Tampa. Dad puttering in the garage. Come see. She urged. And we did. Luna exploring nooks. Uncovering old photos. My toddler grinned beside a stern-faced uncle. Whispers of shared secrets. Over pot roast. Mom confessed. I burned letters from him, feared they'd sway you wrong. Forgive. Tears flowed. Forgiveness a balm. Dad nodding. We're learning late. But learning. Spring bloomed controversy. Luna's school curriculum debate erupted, parents railing against inclusive books. Rainbows deemed agenda. PTA meetings turned battlegrounds. Voices raised over, and tango makes three. Alex and I attended. Hands clasped under tables. Speaking measured. These stories save lives, ours included. Backlash stung glaring lots. Whispered slurs, but allies emerged. A petition swelling. Victory in diverse shelves stocked. Luna. Proud. My dadas fought for love. Summer sweltered with Adventuria Road, trip up the Gulf. Stops at Gulfport beaches. Luna collecting shells like treasures. Motel nights. Ghost stories under thin sheets. Alex's voice weaving magic. My arm is pillow. Detours to civil rights sites, Selma Bridges. Birmingham Parks lessons layered. History's hurts. Resilience's roots. Like us. She grasped. Tiny fist clenched. And we hugged fierce. Legacy living. Fall's harvest brought harvest of heart. Alex's doc aired. PBS slots prime. Reviews lauding visceral hope. Premiere party in Wynwood. Luminaries toasting. Luna in a velvet dress reciting lines from Foster Tales. Post-airing. Emails flooded, thanks from viewers mirroring our path. A foster teen's note. Your story gave me courage. Impact rippled. Purpose deepened. Winter whispered loss. Dad's checkup shadowed Mets lurking. Prognosis guarded. Flights north frequent. Luna's drawings bedside talismans, stick figure families under suns. Hospice talks loomed. But Dad rallied for one last Tampa Thanksgiving table groaning. Story spun till late. Proud. Son. He rasped to me. Hand on Alex's. Of this life you built. His passing came gentle. January frost. Us gathered. Luna's whisper, he's with the stars, a child's wisdom. Grief carved hollows. But filled slow. Memorial on the bay. Ashes scattered where he'd fished. Elena's eulogy, weaving his evolution. Back in Miami. Therapy for Luna, drawing pains into colors while Alex and I leaned. Nights holding through sobs. Spring's green urged growth. We planted a memorial mango in the yard. Fruit sweetening summers. Symbol of sustenance from sorrow. Luna's questions deepened. Where do grandpas go? We'd walk the beach. Toes in surf, to watch over. Like tides returning. Her resilience mirrored our school plays. Soccer goals. Crushes confided over milkshakes. Mid-year. Renewal, Alex's book deal. Photo essay on queer kinships. Me editing margins. Launches in LA. Crowds diverse. Luna signing copies with flourishes. Success buoyed. Funding a trust for her future. Dreams deferred no more. As 8 circled to 9. Her birthday pool party echoed origin splashes. Cake. Our stools reserved. Alex pulled me aside. Ring glinting, 15 years. And you're still my current. Kiss salt tanged. Luna cheering, you. Dadas. Laughter bubbled. Love's cycle unbroken. Through grief's forge and joy's bloom. We emerged, temper teaching Luna that loss layers love. Making it profound. One touches legacy, lives intertwined. Meaningful in every wave. Luna's 9th summer sizzled with soccer camps. Her cleats kicking up divots on fields fringed by palms. Cheers echoing my own youthful sidelines, though mine were track. Chasing speeds to outrun inner storms. Practices stretched evenings. Alex coaching with whistles and wisdom. Me grilling post-game burgers. Her tales of goals and gal pals filling the air. One dusk. As she scored a header. Golden light haloing her curls. Alex's camera clicked. That's our champion. Pride swelled. Fatherhood's fierce joy. Work's horizon widened. A TEDx invite for me silent touches, building brands with heart-scripted nights. Nerves jangling like keys. Alex rehearsed me on the lanai. Luna audience with props. Her critiques blunt, more smiles. Dada. Miami stage. Spotlight hot. Words flowed, our story woven into inclusive imperatives. Applause thundered. Offers follow edkeynotes. Collabs expanding reach. Voice amplified. Families fabric mended. Mom relocated south. Condo in Hallandale. Bridge games with Elena's growing brood. Weekends brimmed, beach days. Her spoiling Luna with ice cream towers. Stories of dad's quirks softening edges. He'd love this, she'd say, watching us grill. And we'd nod. Legacy living in laughter. Fall's palette turned with Luna's school election class rep bid. Posters crayoned with promises, more recess. Kinder hearts. Campaign trailed us, speeches at lunch. Debates in the kitchen. Election day. Ballot box stuffed. Her win announced with hugs, first taste of leadership. Eyes shining. I did it for friends like me. Yet shadows crept. Alex's knee buckled during a shoe-torn meniscus from years chasing shots. Surgery looming. Downtime chafed him. Crutches clacking. Frustration flaring. I'm half a man like this. Nights. I'd massage aches. Whispering. Your homey adventurer. Always. Rehab grueled. But triumphs small. First unassisted steps in the yard. Luna timing with cheers. His pivot, directing from afar. Mentoring young photographers. Legacy branching. Holiday hush brought reflection. Christmas Eve. Tree aglow. Mom regaling ghost stories. Luna's all wide. Midnight mass optional now. But attended for her wonder carols swelling. Our hands linked in pews. New Year's. Bay fireworks blooming. Resolutions whispered, more presence. Deeper dives. Winter waned into wonder. Luna's art class unearthed talent. Canvases splashed with abstracts, blues merging golds. Titles like Tide Hearts. Gallery Kid Show. Her piece sold to a neighbor. Proceeds to animal shelter. Art's like love, she declared. Paint smeared. Messy but magic. Spring surged with a surprise. Elena's twins arrived. Boy-girl whirlwinds. Our Miami christening hosts. Chaos rain diapers. Double strollers but joy doubled. Luna big sis beaming. Teaching burp tricks. Family swelled. Bonds unbreakable. Mid-year. Adventure called, Bahamas cruise. Passports stamped. Luna's first ocean voyage. Deck dances under Caribbean moons. Snorkels revealing reefs teeming. Her gasp at clownfish. Underwater rainbows. Ports hopped Nassau markets. Exuma pigs memories minted in salt and sun. Back ashore. Challenge. Neighborhood flood from rains. Basement swamped. Valuables salvaged in soggy haste. Insurance battles. Rebuild cruise. But community rallied potlucks amid plywood. Stories swapped. Resilience echoed our core, rising wet but unbroken. As 9 crested 10. Her birthday luau pulsabilize. Limbo. Pool dives. Amid hula skirts. Alex and I swayed slow. His whisper, 20 years pull. Still strong. Luna. Crown Askew. Joined. Best family ever. Embrace tripled. Love's current ceaseless. In every kick. Every canvas. Every crisis met. We navigated proving touches spark ignites enduring light. Humanely profound. Luna's 10th roared in with Aurora sleepover bash. 10 giggly girls turning our home into Fort Kingdom. Midnight movies flickering till dawn. Clean up unearthed confetti in corners. But her sleepy thanks. Dada's erased fatigue. Milestones mark time's tender theft. Career currents converged. Alex's mentorship bloomed into a non-profit lens of legacy. Workshops for foster youth. cameras as keys to self. I consulted pro bono. Grant writing wizardry. First cohort's shots raw and riveting. Launch gala. Warehouse aglow. Teens works on wall stories of survival snapped sharp. Luna volunteered. Tiny docent. This one's about finding family. Impact echoed. Purpose pulsing. Mom's 60th shimmered surprise party at our place. Elena's twins toddling. Cousins converging. Toasts toasted her spunk. From prayers to pride you grew with us. Her dance with Alex. Tears tracing. Sealed circles closed. Fall frolicked with Luna's debate team topics thorny. Climate. Equality her arguments fierce. Honed over dinner dissections. Tournament in Orlando. Nerves knotted. But podium third. Words win worlds. Pride parental. Her fire familiar. Shadows stirred subtle. My annual check spiked PS Saperstate shadow. Biopsy booked. Waiting weeks wormed worry. Alex's hand constant. Luna's hugs healing. Clear verdict lifted clouds, benign. But vigilance vowed. Scares gift. He said. Gratitude's grind. Holidays hummed hybrid, Tampa-Miami mash. Mom's turkey. Our Tostans. Elena's brood ballooning. Christmas morning. Luna's haul unwrapped. Her gift to us handmade, Dada book. Pages of memories crayoned. Tears tickled. Love lettered in lines. Winter wove whimsy. Luna's violin debut recital rickety. Notes wobbling. But finale flourished. Bow dipped to applause. Post-performance ice cream. Her blush, music's like a sometimes off. But together tunes. Spring sprouted solidarity. School's GSA club sought sponsors. We stepped up. Bake sales funding trips. Luna president-elect. Safe spaces for all hearts. Ally assembly. Rainbows waved. Her speech stirring. Love's no LGBT its default. Summer scorched with scores. Luna's team finals. Penalty kick pressure. Netted glory in golden goal. Victory laps. Medals melting in hugs. Alex's lens eternalizing elation. Mid-season. Serendipity. Old college flame emailed reunion invite. Atlanta crawl. Ghost stirred. But Alex tagged along. Laughter lightning loads. Bar hops hashed histories. Closure clinked in cheers. Glad it's you now. As 10 tapered 11. Her quinceanera light personal touch. Beach bonfire. Friends firelit. Vows renewed impromptu. Alex's ring twirl. My pledge, forever's our rhythm. Luna's toast. Glass raised, to touches that last. Through scares and scores. We steered valuing vulnerability. Humanity's hook holding fast. 11 arrived electric Luna's braces gleaming. Growth spurt stretching hems. Voice deepening to sass. Middle school loomed. Locker combos conquered. Her first real dance invite fluttering nerves. We prepped suit fittings. Dad talks on consent. Alex's be bold. Be you bomb. Night of. Corsage pinned. Her twirl tear jerking. Wish me magic. Ventures vaulted. Lens of legacy scaled national grants. Pop-up classes in Philly. LA. Alex keynote. Spotlight suiting. While I networked nets for funds. Luna interned summers. Editing youth reels. Their eyes say everything. Stories surfaced. Healing hours. Grandma's glow dimmed hip fracture. Rehab rigorous. We shuttled support. Luna reading aloud. Her patience pearl. Recovery rallied. But reflection ripened. Time's tide. Mom mused. Our hands her harbor. Fall's frenzy. Luna's stem fair. Robot rover rumbling. Code cracked under kitchen lamps. Judges jawed. Award snagged. Innovation in eco-designs. Brains and heart. She beamed. Blueprint for brilliance. Tensions teased. Alex's doc sequel pitched foster follow-ups but funders fumbled. Rejection reels stinging. Art's gamble. He grumbled. But pivot sparked, crowdfund campaign. Community cash cascading. Premiere packed. Purpose proved. Holidays harmonized. Hanukkah lights with Elena's in-laws. Blending lax and luminarious. Luna Laka flipping pro. New Year's Eve. Bay Bash. Her resolution, more me. Less maybe. Winter whipped whims. Snowbird trip to Asheville. Cabins cozy. Sleds soaring. Luna's whoops winter white. Hikes hashed histories. Bonds burnished in blue ridges. Spring spark. Luna's poem published school mag. Tides of touch. Verses vivid on love's pole. Reading recital. Voice velvet. Applause affirming. Words from heart hurt most to heal. Summer surged south. Keys getaway. Catamaran cuts. Luna snorkeling solo. Seashells sourced for jewelry. Storm skirted. Stars stellar. Story spun on decks. Mid-voyage. Milestone. My firm's acquisition offer lucrative leap. But legacy lure. Boardroom debates. Alex's counsel. Chase change. Not chains. Declined. Doubled down on inclusive impact. 11th end. Birthday bonanzascape room escapade. Puzzles puzzled. Her lead locking triumphs. Post-party. Porch ponder. Growing's good. But family's glue. Hugs heaped. Love's lattice laced. In verses and voyages. We voyage Edkith's kinetic. Humanely hooked.